Thank you for watching the RIR updates from APNIC, LACNIC, RIPE NCC, and AFRINIC. Beginning with Tony Smith from APNIC.
Hi everyone, I hope you're all having a great meeting in Kentucky at ARIN 57. My name's Tony Smith. I'm the Director of Strategy and Deputy Director General at APNIC. I'm sorry I can't be there. I've never been to Louisville before. All I know about the place is that the Cardinals didn't make it out of the second round this year. But hopefully at the end of this presentation, you'll know more about what's going on in the APNIC region than I do about college basketball. I apologize in advance to those of you who were in Jakarta at Apricot 2026, as some of this content you're about to see may be a bit familiar to you. But for everybody else, let's get stuck into it. So at APNIC, we break our activities up into 4 different pillars, and they are engagement, registry, development, and capability. And that's how I'm going to talk about our work today. And let's start on the registry side. IPv6 delegations in our region have remained relatively stable over the past 10 years. And particularly in the last year, you can see it's followed that same path. It's very flat in 2025 compared to 2024. Some slight growth in South Asia, but relatively stable. This differs to the IPv4 delegations, on the other hand, which are essentially continuing their long-term decline in our region, 2025 being a significant decline on 2024. Now, we do have IPv4 address space still available in the APNIC region. And as you can see from this chart, which shows our available pool, well, our pool in general, the availables in blue and the reserved space is in green. And we've made our best efforts to recycle address space out of the reserved pool and make it available for usage by our members over the past few years. So you can see the narrowing of that sort of green and blue on the chart. The maximum delegation to new members in our region is a /23. And when I go and talk about policy a little bit later, there actually is a policy proposal on the table right now to change that, which could impact this chart in future years if it goes through. In terms of IPv4 transfers, there's still plenty going on in the APNIC region, but slightly less than in previous years. The line on this chart shows the number of transfers. The bars show the amount of space that's being transferred. So you can see in 2025, there was a slight dip in the number of transfers processed, but the amount of space was probably about the same as sort of 2019 levels. So it has gone down compared to recent years, but still plenty of IPv4 transfers going on. That spike you see in 2020 was due to our historical resource project, where holders of historical space either moved that space within APNIC or transferred it to other accounts, which is why you see that spike there. Now, in terms of membership, APNIC now has around 10,000 members, just over 10,000 members. But when you also consider the national internet registries, and there's 7 of those NIRs within the APNIC region, that number swells to around 26,000 accounts. All right, on to the development side. So there was a lot of training throughout our region in 2025, and you can see there was some pretty high satisfaction ratings with that as well, which is pleasing. But we did review our development strategy last year and made some pretty substantial changes to our curriculum, our training labs, our team structure, and how we run our training programs, including community trainers. And the impacts of those changes will be mostly felt in 2026, but there was it was flowing through towards the end of last year. And those changes are helping us better meet our strategy of improving the deployment and management of internet number resources in the region. Our development team is also involved in supporting infrastructure development, such as IXPs and root servers, as well as providing advice, training, and assistance to certs in the region as well. And you'll see some of those named on this slide, particularly in the Pacific region. Looking at engagement, policy, it was a busy 14 months of policy proposals in the APNIC region. Now, the one proposal I wanted to call out to you, which was discussed at the February meeting, is Prop 168, which proposes to increase the maximum IPv4 delegation size to a /22, and it allow all previous members who only got a 23 to come back for another one. Now, while this proposal did not meet consensus, it will be back on the docket at APNIC 62 in September. If it is accepted by our community, it would mean the IPv4 chart I showed you earlier of the pool I think it would probably mean the end of that chart quite quickly. We'd expect all of that space to be gone within a few months if it does reach consensus. So it literally is watch this space on that one. If you want to know more about what's going on in policy in our region, you can visit that URL on screen there, apnic.net/policy, and you can read through the proposals that are currently being discussed in our region. APNIC continues to be really busy with research, and you're all familiar with that guy on screen there. Jeff is very prolific, and you can catch him presenting just about everywhere these days. You may not be aware, however, of the HoneyNet feed and research that's produced by our security expert, Adli Waheed. And those feeds are used by Shadow Server, MISP, and certs, and also in APNIC's Dash network security information service. So it's not just Jeff's research that obviously grabs the headlines, but we're also doing a lot in the security sector as well through Adli. A lot of that research that we produce ends up on the APNIC blog and our Ping podcast. And a great deal of what you read on the APNIC blog comes from the community, however, and not just from APNIC. And we have had last year around 120 guest posts, which is great. And when I say that what you read on the blog, I mean that because I know a lot of you visit it because the ARIN region is our second largest readership on the blog. So thank you for reading. Thank you for contributing. And if you have feedback on the blog or have a post to contribute, we'd love to hear from you. There's also a lot happening in our community, and it was great to see a lot of familiar faces from the ARIN region at our conference in February. It was a big one with more than 1,000 attendees. And at the conference, I gave a shout out to the ASO/AC representatives from around the RIRs for all their work on the RIR governance document. So I just wanted to repeat that here. They are putting in a lot of hours and a lot of effort into this, and they deserve a pat on the back. So if you see your ASO/AC reps around the place at ARIN 57, be sure to thank them. Now, there's been a lot more happening outside of the ICP2 work. We've been involved in the ITU space, and there's been a lot of work in the various internet governance forums around the region, and more than what you can see on screen here. But the general message, I guess, that I'd like to get across is that we've been playing a pretty active role on behalf of the Asia Pacific community and talking through the views of the technical community at these events. Finally, I wanted to touch on the fourth pillar, which is capability. Capability is our, I guess, the work that often goes unseen behind the scenes. And things such as we reviewed our investment and capital reserve management policies and made some changes this year. Our employee engagement surveys came out very high, which we're very pleased with. We also managed to retain our certification for ISO 27001. And in fact, we moved up to the 2022 standard. But previous to that, we were on the lower standard. So we were quite happy with that as well. We also are now publishing all public feedback that we get received to the APNIC EC and their responses as a enhanced transparency measure. So you can check all that out on the APNIC website. Now, if you'd like to learn more about what I've talked about today, because I've done this very quickly, or look at what we have planned for 2026, the annual report and the 2026 activity plan are both available on our website, and I encourage you to go and have a read if you have more interest. And finally, I'll sign off by inviting you to join us in India for APNIC 62 in September. We would love to welcome you there. So thank you again. That was a whistle-stop tour of what's going on in the APNIC region, but I hope it's been useful, and I hope you enjoy the remainder of the meeting. Thank you.
And now, Carlos Martinez from LACNIC.
Hello, everyone. My name is Carlos Martinez. I am the Chief Technology Strategist at LACNIC, and today I'm pleased to bring to your attention our LACNIC activities update. Unfortunately, I couldn't be there with you in person, and I hope you're having a great ARIN meeting and a wonderful week so far. So let's start with some registry statistics. Here we can see how LACNIC membership has grown over the past 12 years. The IPv4 runout point is clearly visible in this graph, and while growth has continued, it has, as expected, slowed somewhat. Our membership currently stands above 13,000 members. And interestingly, the yellow bars highlight something that is worth noting: the gradual but noticeable growth of IPv6 only members. These are members that only have or have only received IPv6 resources from LACNIC. Of course, usually these members also still use some IPv4, but they basically source it from other either ISPs or transfers. Our CRM deployment has enabled significant improvements in how we serve our members. Today, many processes are self-service. Members can track request status, follow progress stages, and even schedule meetings with analysts. Response times have also improved. Nearly 98% of requests receive an initial response within 2 business days. We've also enhanced the overall experience with tools like customizable notifications in LACNIC. LACNIC is our membership portal, our member portal, including multiple delivery channels such as email, Slack, and others as well. Two-factor authentication has been available for quite some time now and is now being made mandatory in phases. These stages are planned as a top-down approach according to resource holding sizes, beginning with the largest organizations. We've seen also strong results from our member feedback surveys. Comparing 2023 to 2025, satisfaction has improved significantly. In 2025, 100% of respondents rated the request process as easy or very easy. We believe that this is a clear validation that the improvements we've made in both toolings and service delivery are having a positive impact on our members. Now, switching topics a little bit, in 2025, we developed our strategic plan for the next 4 years. Our main focus areas are registry accuracy and integrity, community strengthening, and a sustainable internet, promoting the adoption of open standards and participatory governance. It is a new plan, but our long-term vision stands the same. That is to build and sustain a better internet for everyone. We've also adjusted our organizational structure to better support these priorities. You can scan the QR code down on the slide if you want to find out more about this new strategic plan. Moving on to training and community development, Campus LACNIC, our online learning platform, offers courses on topics like RPKI, DNS, IPv6, network management, and internal governance. Nearly 8,000 students have participated so far, and interestingly enough, about 40% have taken IPv6 related training. Courses can be taken individually, but they are also grouped into specializations such as service provider networks, campus networks, and data center networking. In 2025, we saw our first group of students complete full specialization tracks. We are quite happy about this new group of students. Another example of community strengthening is the RD Ambassadors Program, something which I'm very personally proud of. This program supports professionals leading projects aligned with LACNIC initiatives such as RPKI training, deployment of measurement pros, Atlas, for example, BGP collectors, or even the creation of new network operators groups or nodes. We provide a small grant and ongoing guidance so they can complete their work plans as originally presented. Successful ambassadors are then invited to present their work at the following LACNIC event, helping share knowledge and strengthen our regional community. Now on the tech front, particularly RPKI, one of our key priorities is ASPA. There's been a significant, I would say, uptake of ASPA. reflecting that the community feels that securing the origin, as we do with route or with ROAS, is not enough, not no longer enough. We are seeing currently encouraging activity, especially in Brazil, where we have a lot of delegated clients that they are already creating their ASPA objects. ASPA for hosted users will be coming online later this year, and we will be also providing training, since we believe that in order to better take advantage of this new RPK object, training is key. Still speaking about RPK, we have our fourth RPK validator, which is a project we've supported for several years, and we are definitely very proud of. Version 1.6.7 was recently released, and we have a 0.0 release expected later this year. We are including, of course, ASPA validation, support for RTR version 2, which is needed for validators to provide routers with ASPA-related information. Once the specification for RTR2 is completed at the ATF. Prometheus monitoring is something that many users have requested, and we'll be implementing that as well. While developing Fort, we found out or realized that there were limited options for actually testing relying party implementations. So these two open source initiatives were born. One of them is Barry, the BAT RPK repository generator. Barry can generate RPK repositories that can be served locally over rsync, and you can control how bad these repositories are, ranging from the completely valid to the most insanely broken things you can imagine. This is one part of testing. Then you have to build the harnesses and and run a complete test suite, and this is where Rapport comes along. Rapport automates relying party testing using Barry, Valgrind, and a whole bunch of shell scripts. Both these tools are open source. They are freely available on GitHub, and we will be very, very interested in receiving your feedback. As you may have heard, we had to change the venue and the dates for LACNIC 45. LACNIC 45 will now take place in Panama City from May the 25th to May the 28th. Registration is already open, and I really hope that many of you can join us in beautiful Panama City. If you want to know more about all that I've mentioned so far, we will be really happy if you can visit Panama. If suddenly you cannot make it to this event, you can still stay informed by subscribing to our LACNIC blog. I believe it's a great resource for technical content. Most content is also available in English. Again, your feedback and your comments will be greatly appreciated. Thank you very much. I hope you have a great ARIN meeting. And if you have any further questions, our friends at ARIN know how to send those to us. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
And now Alastair Strachan from RIPE NCC.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for that fantastic introduction, Hollis. One of your best. My name is Alastair Strachan. I work at RIPE NCC as one of the community development officers. Today, I'm going to give you a short update on what we're working on, our strategic direction, some concrete activities, and how this connects to the wider operator community, including here in the ARIN region. I'll start with a high-level view of our strategy. This is important because a lot of our operational work, registry services, measurements, training, governance, all flows directly from these strategic priorities. So we have support an open, inclusive, and engaged RIPE community. operate a trusted, efficient, accurate, and resilient registry, enable our members and community to operate one secure, stable, and resilient global internet, maintain a stable organization with a robust governance structure, and attract engaged, competent, and diverse staff. For 2026, we're focusing on a few core themes. First up, improving registry data accuracy and compliance, especially by expanding automation to handle increased workload and complexity. We are also actively trying to reduce technical debt. This is all about resilience, reliability, and being prepared for recovery scenarios. Outreach remains key. We have a refreshed fellowship, new courses, updated exams. At the same time, we are closely monitoring legislation, particularly in the EU. This is to manage any political and regulatory risks. We also have things like the ICP2 implementation, the transparency using our trust portal, and a whole host of other things that are taking place. Operate a resilient, defensible security architecture. This is to reduce the risk of cybercrime and other threats. And finally, prepare for the 2731 strategy and the 2027 charging scheme vote. So a few big moments up ahead for us as well. Our draft strategy is built around 4 anchors. First, guaranteeing uniqueness and building trust. This is our core responsibility as a registry. Second is responsible stewardship, supporting internet security through resilience and stability through best practices and capacity building. Third is being a source of authoritative data, neutral, high-quality data that the community can rely on. And finally, engaging members and renewing our community. Inclusiveness, openness, and investing in future leaders really does matter to us. Now, these areas, these anchors translate into actual practical focus areas. So in the 2731 strategy document, we're looking at registry accuracy, automate registry processes, modernize technology, strengthen fraud detection, and enhance self-service, and ensure compliance with global standards and best practices. Internet resilience, scalability, and routing security through internet number resource distribution, K-route operation, promotion of IPv6, routing security, and RPKI, all ensure the internet remains stable, resilient, secure, and scalable. Data and insights. We want to maintain control of data and use automation responsibly to improve efficiency. We want to support members while providing high-quality neutral insights. Community partnership and trust. Renew and diversify participation. Uphold openness and inclusivity, and build trust through responsible action, training, and knowledge sharing. Good governance. We want to demonstrate transparent, representative, neutral, and resilient governance. Maintain a fit-for-purpose membership model. And number 6, agility and execution culture. We want to foster a culture of delivery and accountability with strong follow-through by being adaptive and goal-oriented. A big part of what we do day to day is providing tools and data to the community. These platforms support operators, researchers, policymakers, really anyone who needs reliable insights on how the internet is working. Alongside raw data, we published reports on key operational and technical topics. These are designed to be practical and accessible. They help the community understand trends, risks, and developments across the internet ecosystem. These are 2 of the reports we published last year. We had the state of the IPv4 and ever-evolving transfer landscape, and the role of IXPs throughout the Southeast Europe meeting. Now, there is a new traceroute visualization for RIPE Atlas, a major transformation of DNSMON, and a refreshed RIPEStat UI. Now, the goal here with the data measurements and tools is to make this complex data that we have usable. We want it easier to explore and easier to act on. RIPE Labs remains our space for analysis and experimentation. Here is where we share a whole host of insights and articles from ourselves, from the community. It's a really great resource, and there's some really interesting reads on there. So if you haven't been to, go to labs.ripe.net and you'll find a whole host of information. RIPE Atlas continues to grow as a global measurement platform. We actually now have over 13,400 probes online. 800 anchors, which are kind of supersized probes, and we are running tens of thousands of measurements every day. It really is a powerful example of community-powered infrastructure. It's measuring the internet in real time from the edges. Capacity building is another major pillar for us. We offer online learning via webinars and the RIPE NCC Academy, in-person training and personal certification. We actually just launched a new advanced IPv6 e-learning course, which, given the deployment challenges still exist, we feel is a very important topic to still be talking about. Now, events will always remain a key way for us to engage with the community. It's not just about the policy discussion, it's about sharing operational experience, building trust, and really connecting with people across the region. So we have 5 of our main events published. So we have C14 in Bulgaria, that's in a few weeks, but I guess just gone, depending on when this actually recording is played. We have RIPE 92 in Edinburgh on the 18th to the 22nd of May. We have the RIPE NCC Days in Latvia, that's the 3rd to 4th of June. The Central Asia Peering Forum, CAPIF, that's in Dushanbe in September, and RIPE 93 in Sofia in Bulgaria in October. So we have quite a few big events coming up, which we'd love to see you there. RIPE Labs podcast. We mentioned RIPE Labs podcast is, well, exactly as it says. There's some really cool interviews and discussions with industry leaders, community members, researchers. If you like a good nerdy podcast, I highly recommend. Again, labs.ripe.net. Through there, you'll be able to find all the information. RIPE 92, I've mentioned it. Come find us in my fatherland. We'll be in Edinburgh in Scotland from the 18th to the 22nd of May. It's shaping up to be a really good meeting, so please come and join us. And finally, my last slide is one of the most useless because I'm not there in person to answer any of your questions. But if you do have any, please feel free to reach out. And I hopefully look forward to seeing you all in person, either at RIPE 92 or another event somewhere soon. Thanks a lot. Take care.
And now Arthur Carindal Ongesan from AFRINIC.
Good day, everyone. It is a pleasure to attend remotely ARIN 57 and present the AFRINIC update. My name is Alastair Strachan. I'm the head of stakeholder development at AFRINIC. AFRINIC, the regional internet registry for the African continent, currently serves over 2,500 organizations across 55 economies in Africa and the Indian Ocean. This entire operation is managed by a dedicated team of 42 staff members. We are not just a registry, we are a foundation of the African internet ecosystem. One of the most significant news regarding AFRINIC governance is that as of September 12 of last year, we have the full board of directors. The board of directors is led by our chairman, Professor Emmanuel Adedekoum from Western Africa, and the vice chairman of the board, Professor Abdelaziz Ilali from Northern Africa, and we also Dr. Kalim Ousmani from Indian Ocean, Mr. Laurent Untumba from Central Africa, Mrs. Carla Sandeso from Southern Africa, Dr. Fiona Songa from Eastern Africa, Mr. Benjamin Robert from non-regional Africa, and Mr. Adewale Agao from non-regional Africa. As you can see, our board provides balanced representation from every sub-region of the continent. The board is supported by the Interim Management Committee, which has been instrumental in maintaining operational continuity. The Interim Management Committee is composed of Mr. Nimal Manik, who oversees finance and administration, Mr. Mukom Tamon, with manage technology, infrastructure, and strategy, and your servant Arthur Carindal leads stakeholder engagement, communications, and policy liaison. Membership growth. As you can see on the graph, growth remains steady and healthy. By Q1 of this year, our total membership reached over 2,500 members. In the first quarter of this year alone, we welcomed 32 new resource members. If you look at our trajectory since the earlier 2000, the acceleration of African digital transformation is clearly reflected in these numbers. Now, IPv4 and ASN status. Regarding the resources, we still have more than 20,000 IPv4 addresses remaining in our pool. In Q1 2026, we distribute over 52,000 addresses and assign 38 ASN numbers. We also received a fresh allocation of 1,024 ASN numbers from Guyana to ensure we can meet the continued demand for network identification. Security and service adoption during the first quarter of this year. Security is also a top priority for AFRINIC. In the first quarter of this year, we saw significant adoption of security services. Over 800 members are now utilizing RPKI. An impressive 81% of our members are using our internet routing registry. We have reached a total of 1,144 ROAs. Regarding capacity building, we believe at AFRINIC that infrastructure is only as good as the people running it. That is the reason AFRINIC capacity building efforts have reached roughly 5,000 learners across the entire continent. We have certified more than 200 engineers and provide over $7,000 in scholarship to lower the barrier to technical excellences. Furthermore, we have tracked more than 570 deployment milestones with 90 operators, making significant progress in the network implementation. Recently, the board ratified 2 policies. The first one is the number resource transfer policies, which set clear rules for intra-regional inter-IR, and legacy transfers. The second one is the Abuse Contact Policy Update, which mandates that all resource holders maintain a valid operational abuse email. This is a critical step in making the African IP space safer and more accountable. Now, regarding governance update, the board appointed the nomination committee composed of 4 members for the upcoming 2026 election. 3 members of the governance committee who should be elected by AFRINIC resource members in good standing, 2 members of the NRONC and AOCAC elected by the African community, and 2 PDP co-chairs selected through a consensus-based process by AFRINIC policy development working groups. The board also established a bylaw review committees. The 6 members committees is tasked with ensuring our bylaws remain transparent, accountable, and aligned with modern legislative requirements and the organizational needs. Now for stakeholders and community engagement. Engagement never stopped despite the different challenges and the issues AFRINIC has been facing over the past month and years. In the first 3 months of this year, we visited 7 countries and engaged with over 30 organizations. This includes a mix of government relations, technical training, and member outreach to ensure we stay connected to the needs on the ground. African Special Members Meetings. On April 14 of this year, recently, we held a special general member meeting where the members adopted the audit financial statement of 2021, marking another important step in our administrative cleanup and transparency effort. Finally, I invite you all to join us for the African Internet Summit 2026, which will be held from June 22 to 26 of this year in Nairobi, Kenya. It will be a cornerstone event for the community to discuss the future of the African internet. Thank you very much for your support and for your attention. Thank you.